Vice President of Education, in my opinion, is one of the most, if not the actual most important role on the club level. You are second in command. So if the president is gone, it is up to you to fill in that role. And so we're going to talk about that today. I love this position. This position I have done on many occasions, and I really have a passion for making sure that members are accredited for their goals and their achievements in working hard to become members, to become better leaders and better speakers. So we're going to go over a few things today. If you have questions, please use the raise your hand button, and I will get to those after every slide. So without further ado, if anyone has any questions, I'll pause for a moment, see if I can see any hand raises. All right, let's get on with this presentation. So again, my name is Crystal Pugh, and this is my Toastmasters journey. I'm a 6-year Toastmaster as of July 1st. I am the new Division B director as of July 1st as well. I appreciate being elected into that role. I have held offices such as President, Vice President of Education, and Treasurer. I have earned my ACG, my ALB, EC5, and so on and so forth. And I actually just earned my 6th Triple Crown this morning. So it is a program, a hobby, a love, a passion of mine to be a better speaker and a better leader. Any questions? All right, awesome. Let's continue on. So what does a VPE do? Well, that's a question that everyone asks when they originally get signed up for being a Vice President of Education. If you're new to the club levels and to the club elections and to the club leadership, this is a role that you go, okay, well, Vice President of Education, what do I do? So we're going to go over that today. So the agenda for today, what does a VPE do? How can I work with my club officers? What materials and skills do I need to succeed at this role? And if there's any questions, we will get to that at the end of the presentation. But like I was saying, if you have any questions between slides, please feel free to use the raise your hand option, and I will get to those after every slide. And please make sure if you have the ability to have pen or pencil and paper, so that if you have any questions, you can write them down. That way you can remember them, as well as if you have any questions at the end that we can get to. I want to make sure that there's time available for that. And I appreciate your time in being with us all over the globe, as well as here in District 7. Any questions before I go to the next slide? Excellent. Let's continue on. Perfect. All right, let's get this party started. So again, what does a VPE do? Vice President of Education. So you'll hear those acronyms quite a bit. It's not really as easy as you think, but it is the most important club officer, not only in my opinion, but also in the opinions of a lot of other Toastmasters who have served at this role. To give you a bit of insight, when I joined Harrisburg Young Professionals Toastmasters 6 years ago, I joined July 1st, did it to make friends. I was a single mom at the time, or not a single mom, I was a mom of 4, and I wanted to get out of the house. And my ability to make friends and to branch out, I was doing multi-level marketing at the time, and so we really had the ability for me to go and meet friends and to be as productive as possible within my company that I was doing business with. 2 weeks later, the club president asked me to be vice president of education. I had no idea what this role was, but I said, okay, I'm going to take this on and I will learn as I go, because I am the type of person that I will cannonball into anything and just say Geronimo and let's go with this. That is how I started as a vice president of education. So if you have been to this website, I am going to show, obviously if you're Toastmasters, I hope you've been to this website. I am going to give you a little bit of a glimpse of how to use Basecamp and how to use Club Central. I highly recommend the next session that you do is to learn about being a Basecamp manager as a vice president of education. Like I said, I'm going to skim just a little bit, but if you really want to know how to do Basecamp manager as a vice president of education, I really, really recommend that you do this, because it's critical as your role as a vice president of education to make sure that your members not only get credit for the work that they do, but to feel achievement and to feel accomplishment. So this is my way of just skimming the water on that. So when you log in, you'll go into your pathways, which is usually over here, and it will then say go to Basecamp, and you'll be able to go to this right here. Now, as you can see, my home club right now is Gateway Toastmasters in Eugene, Oregon. And as you can see, there is go to Basecamp, and there is login as a Basecamp manager. Now, if you are in multiple clubs, you'll actually have a drop down here that will work with you if you are a member of another club, but you are not in a leadership role as a Basecamp manager. You will not see that Basecamp manager role. But again, this will be more in depth if you join that session on how to be a Basecamp manager. Any questions before I go to the next slide? Because I did forget those in the last slide. All right, let's continue on. So you log in as a Basecamp manager, and there's two particular areas that you really should focus on. Now, there are manager tutorials if, say, you forget everything you learned here at TLI, because it is a lot of information coming in. You will be able to have those resources to be able to work on getting that taken care of. So you see in the red box, there are pending requests. And we're going to go over that here in just a moment as far as seeing how the pending requests work. Are there any questions before I go to the next slide? All right, let's continue on. Yeah, you can do it via text. You can chime in. My email address will also be present. So if you have any more questions, you can always feel free to contact me as well. So thank you for that, Brian. All right, next slide. So as you can see, there aren't any levels that I have to approve in my home club, but this is what it will look like, and then it will show the member's name and what level they have finished. So that way you can submit the first part of submitting an educational award. Yes, these will be available. Like I said, my email address will be on there, and you can email me and get those, as well as I can also put a link on there as well. So thank you, Kathy. There's also printable versions. You can put this in Excel, but it is really a function that you would see requested by, and then you'll be able to approve that. Now there's a second part to this. Any other questions before I continue on? And I thank everybody for helping to work these Zoom functions. It is really important that we all learn these skills together. So without any
I do have a quick question.
Of course, Brian, how can I help you?
Yeah, so I'm just logged into Toastmasters, but I didn't catch how you got into the Basecamp manager.
Sure, I will go back. So when you log in, you'll go to Pathways. Right here, you see me circling it. and then it will, you'll go down to go to Basecamp. And then it will let you access it through here, and you'll see after July 1st, log in as Basecamp manager if you are president, vice president of education, or secretary. Those are the only 3 positions that can log into Basecamp manager. Now, any
Okay,
other.
so that's why I can't see it yet, because I have to wait till July 1st.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that answers my question then. Okay, thanks.
My pleasure. All right, let's continue on. So again, pending requests, showed the screen there. Again, nothing for me to submit at this time, but as you progress in, you'll be able to see those levels. You'll also get an email from Toastmasters International that you need to submit a award for that. They usually are a little bit behind by maybe an hour or 2, but it will have a email that you will get to submit that as well. So then the next one is member progress. And this is really critical to make sure you're auditing your members, and that if something gets through the cracks, because emails do go to spam filters or just don't get into your inboxes, this is a great way to do that. So as you can see, member progress, and then you'll see a chart for each level in progress. Oh, and so you can go to level completions, path progress, path type. It really is crucial that you see each part of it. And like I said, I'm just skimming the water. If you really want to learn more of this, go to the Basecamp manager session after this. It will help you out tremendously. Any questions on this?
I have one. Actually, it's more of a commentary.
Sure.
My club is notorious for the people not at the end of their project hitting complete. They have to hit complete in order for it to go to this step. If they don't hit this step, there is nothing for me to approve.
Yes, and that is why the audit portion of it is critical, because if you can see that they've completed all of the parts of their level and they just didn't hit their complete, that is when you can go to them and say, send them an email or send them a text message. Hey, I need you to hit complete on this. Make
Two
sure
levels.
you're doing that.
There's 2 levels on here of 2 pathways that I have for one gentleman who has not hit complete. So there's nothing for me to approve. There's 2 parts to pathways.
Yes.
They have to do their part, which submits it to me. Then I have to submit my part to do all this. I didn't know that when I first started this. So I'm like, and then there's your part. If I complete my pathways and I submit that says I did my level 1, I submitted my level 1 complete and requested it in January. And none of the other officers in my club, since I'm VP of E, would approve it. So my award sat there for 4 months because nobody would log in and hit approve. I'm like, will somebody, one officer in my club, please go in there and give me an award?
Absolutely. I actually recently did an audit for my home club and found 3 members who had not even launched, but did the speeches and then didn't hit complete. And I did those audits and messaged those particular members and said, you need to hit complete, you need to hit launch, you need to do these things. So that way you get credit for the hard work you've put into this.
But
and so these
forget
audits
for
are
you.
critical.
If you're VP of E, you need to talk to those other officers about your completions, because you hit complete all you want and it'll sit there in the requests because you can't approve your own stuff.
Exactly.
And then nobody thinks to go into Basecamp and do anything for you. So all my awards sat there for 4 months and I'm like, will somebody please do this for me? And nobody ever thought to.
Oh, of course. It happens to the best of us. It's a new system, new functionality, and so it does take some time to learn that. So great feedback, great observation, and thank you for chiming in on that. I really do appreciate it.
So
Any other questions?
Yes, I do,
Sure.
Crystal. There is a member in my club cannot submit. It just cannot see it because he hit the complete, but he never do the before assessment. Is that true too?
No, you do not need to do the quiz, but you will need to launch the navigator.
Okay, that answer. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Any other questions I can answer before we go on?
Yes. Is it just the president and the secretary, since they're the other persons that have access to the base camp manager? Are
Yes.
those the ones that would approve your completion?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
my pleasure.
Crystal, can I have a question?
Yeah, what can I help you with?
Yeah. You said you conducted audit in your club. Is there any format, anything, or that's your own initiation that you took?
That was my own initiative, just because as a vice president of education, I really value all the hard work that my members put in to be able to get those achievements and complete their speeches. And so it's something I do on my own initiative as a vice president of education, just in that instance. But yes, there's no form to it. There's no email or prompt that you would get. It's just something you need to do on your own initiative. Any other questions?
Thanks, that helps.
Of course, my pleasure.
So what you say is audit. There is no function or button called audit. So what do you do?
So that is where I go in to the member progress, and I wish I had this interactive so I could show you, but all you would do is go through individual progress, and then, oops, you would go down to the bottom of this page and you can actually see who is in progress for their different speeches, so that you can talk to those members and say, well, did you finish this? What is going on? How can I assist you in getting these speeches done? So that way you can see where your members are at as far as their speech progress and level progress goes.
Correct. Yes. Good.
Excellent question.
I compare it with Easy Speak because my people schedule out their speeches ahead of time. So I pull up the Easy Speak pathways comparison with Toastmaster with the pathways actual comparison, because I have two screens at home. So I pull up pathways and I pull up Easy Speak and I see where they're at and see if it matches up and see if they've actually booked it out, and then go, oh, okay, they're on track. If they haven't done anything, then I kind of ping them and go, hey, is there anything I can help with?
Yeah, Easy Speak is great for that. If you use free Toast Host for your club, then it will not track it quite as much. I have worked with both programs. I have my own personal preference on which one to use. My friend in D38 will completely argue with me over that particular functionality, but yeah, Easy Speak is great in that aspect of tracking your members.
One more question, Crystal.
Sure.
So I can see individual progress for all of my members, even though their home club is not in my club. Is that correct?
It would only be for the particular members who are in your club. You're not going to see anybody else's clubs.
No, see, for example, there are two members belong to two club. So their home club is not the club A club. Their home club is B club. Can I see that too in here?
Only those particular speeches that they will go into as far as that particular club. So if you, let me go back to that slide. I'll show you real quick. So if you see on this slide, Remember I said that there would be a drop down here for your home club. That is where they will go into and dive into Basecamp. But again, this is something that I'm just skimming the water on. If you really want to go more in depth with this, I suggest going after lunch to that Basecamp manager training. It will really help you to dive more into that.
Sure. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. All right. So we've got member progress. We know where we're going at. We're going to do those audits on a regular basis, whatever is comfortable for you. And then this is where you're going to go in to Club Central via Leadership Central and be able to submit those education awards. As you can see, I put it in a red box. So that way you can just click on it once you have once you have completed it within Pathways. And this is a pretty easy format on that. And then it will have you select a member. Now you cannot submit these for yourself. So you would need any other club officer to go into Club Central specifically and be able to submit this. And it will actually show that completion once you have submitted it in that drop down. So it's really easy for you to be able to work on getting those levels completed into Club Central. Any questions on that? All right.
I have a comment. You actually don't have to do the Basecamp thing first and the Club Central thing second. You can do them in either order. In fact, 2 years ago when I was VP of Education, we had a member who never did get around to clicking on the final link on her path. So she never got the completion thing. I was never able to approve that she completed the level, but she did complete the level and I knew it. And I went into Club Central and put her down for level 1 in Club Central.
Okay. That is a great option, but I recommend for that audit purpose, specifically when you are in the audit mode of Pathways, to make sure that they hit that completion, because particularly when they complete the entire path, they need to be able to have that submission in there. So that way TI will actually send them a certificate that is on really nice paper that says that they completed that particular path. But yes, thank you for your comment.
That's true. In her case though, I mentioned it to her several times to go into Basecamp and hit the completion thing, and she never did. She was going to quit Toastmasters soon anyway because she got busy with other things.
Sure.
So I went ahead and went to Club Central and submitted her so at least the club could get the benefit
Absolutely.
of speeches, even if she didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. All righty.
Just a follow-up question on the
Sure.
education awards. What are the education awards? Is it just completion of a level or a particular speech? Can you explain
so you
when we would go here?
When you do it in Club Central, it's just for each level.
Okay.
And not for the entire path or whatnot. But yes, it's for, or I'm sorry, strike that, reverse it. It is for each level. Yeah, I said level. And then once you do each level, it'll just show you as completion once you submit it.
Okay, so it's just when they're done with their level, you go in here and make the submission for the award. Okay,
Yes.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
I have a
All right.
question.
Sure.
I have completed a couple of the levels of the Pathways, one of which I got recognized. I did not know how to get it recognized. I was VP of Education at the time and I was confused, not knowing I couldn't submit my own stuff. I have 2 more levels that need to be approved. They're over a year old. Are they still approvable by our current VP of Ed?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as they are the president, VPE, or secretary, yes, they can still be approved at any point.
So it's not too late. Thank you.
No, not absolutely. All right, without further ado, let's continue on. So how do I work with my club officers? One thing you would do is either in free toast host, easy speak, whatever the motion, however you schedule your particular speeches, it really is important to work with all of your club officers, because that way, if you're working with your president, they can get a ability to have that recognition. You offer support to the Toastmaster. You help schedule those education sessions. So one thing I do is I will actually bring my laptop or my tablet to each meeting, bring up either Easy Speak, Free Toast Host, whatever the system may be, and then that way members can just sign up right away. Now on Zoom, it's great because then you can go back and forth between whatever your system is and be able to get your members signed up that way. And then again, notify your club president of any education awards, so that way your members can get recognized for the hard work that they do. But it's really crucial that you review, do those audits like I was talking about, support the Toastmaster, schedule those sessions, and notify the club president of any education awards. Any questions? All right, let's continue on. Again, it's easier than you think to work with your officers. That's where the communication and your leadership abilities come into play. We get the little waves. I wanted to make this as fun and entertaining as possible and not just your standard slides on that. So as was mentioned before by PJ, your Distinguished Club program is really crucial for making sure that you are staying in track with those members as well, that they are submitting those levels through Club Central, because if you don't submit it through Club Central, it will not show up on the DCP report. So this is just another way to audit your club members and making sure that awards are getting put into the system and that there are credits. Now, again, what PJ showed is that there will be a change starting July 1 as far as the ways that the credits get put on there for the Distinguished Club program. So it's really important that you look on that particular slot or particular page at any given moment when you are doing those audits, just to make sure that everything is set to go. And you would actually go into Club Central. You can then see when you have that drop down that it will say distinguished, I believe it says distinguished performance. And then you can actually insert any club number or name in here. And then you can be able to do that look. So that is something that anyone who is a Toastmaster and logs in will be able to see this as well. It's not just for officers. Any questions on that?
Quick question on you mentioned Easy Speak. I hadn't heard of that till now, and I just was looking it up and trying to log in. Can I not log in until July 1st on that also as an officer?
No, that is something that you would have to email the it really is a personal preference as far as how the club works. So that way it will make it easiest for you. I prefer free toast host. So that way it's just more of a click friendly, but again, it's really up to the club and up to the members. And so you have the ability to try both. They're both free access and really be able to dive in and see which is going to be best for your club and kind of try each of those out. So again, Lily, you were asking about how to go to this dashboard. You would log in to the Toastmasters website. You go to the, and I had it on here. Let me go back a couple of slides because it will, I'm so used to doing it just by, yeah, click Leadership Central, then Distinguished Program. Thank you, Sienna. I think I'm saying that right, hopefully. Okay. Any other questions? Perfect. I'm sorry, did someone have a question?
Well, I did have a question.
Sure.
In years past, when I've been VP of Education, I made out all the schedules, usually 3 months in advance, and then broke it down so that by the week before a month before the Toastmaster meeting, I had a final schedule I published. That doesn't seem to be happening now. What is your recommendation on that?
It really is up to each club how they want to do it for their system. Again, there's pen and paper, there's free toast host, there's easy speak. It really is up to each person and each club how they want to go about that. If members want to schedule a month in advance, go for it. That means at least you have your schedule filled and you don't have to do as much work. If you want to do it on a weekly basis, that's up to your club and how your club functions. I've seen clubs that do it on a monthly basis, and I've seen them do it on a weekly basis. So again, it's just really up to each club on what they feel comfortable doing.
Well, the problem we've been having is that we often don't have anybody signed up. And like I say, the minor positions such as even evaluator, which is nothing you need to be prepared for. It could be assigned ahead of time. This isn't being done, and we have to scrounge at the last moment who's going to do what. And I'm just uncomfortable with having our club work that way.
Sure, and that is where you as a VPE can poke and prod those particular members that you know need to work on evaluations and becoming a better evaluator, those who need to finish their levels and need to speak, or someone who hasn't been a Toastmaster before or a Toastmaster in a while. Message them, talk to them offline and say, hey, look, I would really want you to do this, and I think you would be great at this. Can you please sign up for this for 1 week? Try it, and if you fail, that's fine, you're gonna learn, and if you don't, great, you've got it nailed down.
I've started doing that's been pretty successful, especially as we've gone remote, because it's really hard to get folks to commit as we're all on Zoom, is to actually pull up the next week's agenda in the admin site and ask people to sign up in advance. Okay, like, hey, we have had a lot of people haven't done it. Can we fill in and get this going so we know what we're doing by next week?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's just up to each VPE, each club, and really what works best for you.
Yeah, that's been the problem, that we don't have schedules put out. I'm so used to actually doing the schedule. Who is going to be the Toastmaster? Who's speaking? And then those people are aware of it at least a month in advance. And if they can't do it, we give them the option of if they can find a substitute, that would be so much better. Then the club meeting runs so much smoother because we know 2 weeks in advance what's happening. Now we don't even know the same day of the meeting what's happening.
And that's where, like with free toast hosts, I actually send out an email on the weekends because my club at Gateway Toastmasters meets on Wednesday nights. So that way anyone who may have missed signing up can then get that email and they can click on it, go right to free toast host is what I use, and then be able to sign up. But again, it's up to each club on that. But I like to send out emails on the weekends just so that way you're engaging your members, which is something that Lily asked.
Yeah, we're working 2 different wavelengths here. You work on signing up and I work on assigning, doing the actual assignment. And they're 2 different ballparks.
Sure, absolutely. I'm gonna press on a little bit because we're running out of time and I really wanna make sure everyone has a chance to see everything. And also if you have any questions, email me as well. We'll just continue on. Now during the meeting, again, recognize your members. If the president is not, preside over the meeting if necessary. Again, you are second in command, and answer any questions about Pathways program, or if you have a speech contest going on, what is going on during that speech contest. So again, if you have any Pathways program questions, you can always do that as well. Allowed to organize a competition by, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can organize it at any time. You can have a speech contest at any time and really engage your members that way as well, and add a little competition to it. All right, let's move on. Like I said, we're kind of pressed for time here. but it is crucial during the meeting to help your club succeed. Little bold, there we go. So outside of the meeting, what benefit do you have as a VPE outside of the meeting? Help plan club meetings, as we talked about already. Promote participation in the pathways. You are the cheerleader for pathways. So you are really the person that needs to engage your members in the pathways program. Orient new members, help them find a mentor. If you have a mentor program set up in place, I highly recommend every club have one, just so that you engage your new members and get them going. And encourage new members to participate, especially with table topics first. Get the jitters out of the way, get them introduced to pathways, and help them find a path right away. And then also attend executive committee meetings, especially when you're working on your club success plan. And then just attend district council meetings that happen on a regular basis. And you can find those out through your area director or your division directors. And then a call to action for you here today. What steps do you need to succeed? And you can write these down. How will you fulfill this responsibility as the VPE? When will each action be completed? And who is available to help you? Your team is available to help you. Your members are available to help you. And what materials and resources can you use to succeed? So these are some questions that you can write down, answer in your head, as well as put this with your club council, so that way everyone is on the same page and succeeds as well. So we only have a few minutes remaining. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to answer any other questions at this time, but I do want to thank everyone for participating today. My email address is down below, and I'll leave this up for a bit, is crystal.pugh.toastmasters@gmail.com. And if you want a copy of these slides, please email me so I can get those over to you. But I want to thank everyone for participating today and viewing these slides and joining my meeting. I really thank you so much, and I'm going to turn this back over to Leanna.
Crystal, great presentation. Thank you. And I have a gift.
I have a supplementary question to that.
Sure.
Since evaluation is so crucial about the Toastmaster meeting, I do not see any training on evaluation being conducted. And having attended few TLIs, I do not see focus on any training on evaluation. So any
Sure,
comment
and
on that?
that's up to each TLI, and that is something that I will bring up to the executive committee when we do our next TLI in the fall. But if you do have any questions on evaluations, please email me, and I'm more than happy to answer those and provide as much feedback as possible.
There's a terrific manual called Effective Evaluations that you can download on the TI website. Effective Evaluations.
Thank you.
And Crystal, I would like to say here in District 7, we have an evaluation club called Feedbackers. I've been a member of for a number of years. We are currently meeting online, and it is the second Wednesday of every month. So just Google Feedbackers, and you're welcome to join us. Also, District 7 is starting beginning July 1st, a series of monthly webinars. We're calling them Wednesday's Wonderful Webinars. And if you look in our Voices, our electronic magazine that you all received, might have been last week, we have a list of all of the webinars, great supplementary material to help round out your experience. And now, since I have used your last minute, I want to thank everyone for attending. I hope that you are walking away with great new knowledge about what it means to be the Vice President of Education. I too am one this year, coming year for Feedbackers. So great information. I get to dismiss you to lunch. That is pretty exciting.
And I get to go back to work because this actually happened on my lunch, and I get to go back to work until 3:30.
Great. Well, everyone else, 12:35 is the next session.
Absolutely. And like I said, I will leave this up. So if you still want to stay within this room, or you're going to be in room A for your next presentation, then I will, like I said, keep this up. You can email me at any point and I will answer emails to the best of my ability.
Great job, Crystal. Enjoy
Thank
the
you
rest
so
of your
much.
work day.
Yes, thank you guys so much. I look forward to getting off at 3:30 and relaxing and going from there. And I'm using ands a lot as filler words, but I do appreciate everyone's time. Enjoy your lunch, and I hope you enjoy the rest of TLI. It really is beneficial to being a Toastmaster, even if you're not an officer.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Have a good lunch.
We'll have lunch.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll stay on the schedule.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you, Leanna, so much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Don't work too hard this afternoon.
I'll try my best. All right.
Hey,
Just
Leanna, it
close
was
out
good
the
seeing
room
you
whenever
again.
you want, and I have to go back to work.
Bye, Crystal. Oh,
Bye, Leanna.
Hi, Leanna.
Bye, Ray.
It's good seeing you again.
You too.
I gotta figure out where I'm going now.
Going to lunch.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yes.
Please. Bye.
Bye bye.
Belly tray for everybody.
So how long the lunch break is?
Lunch is until 12:35. So it's about 45 minutes.